of this hour on VTV News. 13 Party Central Committee convenes meeting. Later on, Prime Minister proposed 6 growth pillars for ASEAN in Smart Era. And in our world news, Russia reacts to U.S. proposal to end conflict in Ukraine.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is now 8 a.m. local time and you're watching VTV News. I'm dealing with the latest updates. Now, the 13th Central Committee of the Communist Party of Vietnam convened in Hanoi on Thursday afternoon, chaired by Party General Secretary Tô Lâm. In his opening remark, the party chief outlined several crucial issues for the party's Central Committee to consider and decide.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm highlighted 5 key areas for discussion, including 3 major topics: the review of the party's Resolution 18 on reforming and streamlining the political apparatus, the plan to adjust the GDP growth target, aiming for at least 8% in 2025 and double-digit growth for the 2026-2030 period, and personnel matters under the committee's authority. Emphasizing the need to review Resolution 18, the party chief stressed that this was the most critical issue before the session.
On December 30th, the Politburo and the Secretariat announced the decision on the functions, tasks, and organizational structure of 3 party committees, 4 party public service units, and 6 socio-political organizations. So far, many tasks have been completed ahead of schedule, following the directions set by the Party Central Committee. The smooth and rapid implementation of these tasks is built on previous efforts by the party to streamline the political system's organizational apparatus over the past terms.
Regarding economic and social issues, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm highlighted the Politburo's directive to innovate lawmaking, improve the institutional framework, remove bottlenecks, mobilize resources, and strengthen human resource development. He emphasized that these efforts will lay the foundation for achieving GDP growth of 8% or more in 2025 and sustain double-digit growth in subsequent years.
Now, during the 2025 World Economic Forum, or WEF, in Davos, Switzerland, Prime Minister Phie delivered a speech at the ASEAN Connecting to Reach Out discussion, chaired by WEF President Bourget Bronde. At the session, the Vietnamese leader highlighted his vision for ASEAN's future.
While sharing that Vietnam is the fastest-growing economy in ASEAN, Prime Minister Phie called for the bloc to enter the smart era with ambition and readiness to think big and act boldly, leveraging science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation as key growth drivers. He emphasized key pillars for ASEAN's success in the smart era.
First, there must be no war and no conflict in the smart era. Second, the economy must embrace inclusivity, sustainability, and comprehensiveness. Third, regarding culture, promoting ASEAN's common identity for development is necessary. Fourth, in terms of the environment, it is necessary to build a green, clean, and sustainable environment for long-term development. Fifth, we must ensure social security, leaving no one behind. Sixth, it is necessary to ensure social progress and equity.
The Prime Minister highlighted Vietnam's determination to lead in science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation. To realize this goal, Vietnam has issued Resolution 57 to support national innovation and create a relevant legal basis supporting the sector.
We also want to connect digitally with ASEAN countries in the new era. We connect the region and the world so that the shared global intelligence of the entire world can be useful in propelling the development of each country and region.
Regarding Myanmar, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh expressed his firm belief that with unity and solidarity for their common goal, ASEAN will bring peace, stability, and happiness back to the people of Myanmar.
While receiving United Nations Special Envoy on Myanmar, Julie Bishop, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh stressed that Vietnam always pays close attention to the situation and hopes that Myanmar will soon stabilize for the benefit of the Myanmar people, as well as for peace and stability regionally and globally. The Prime Minister also reasserted Vietnam's consistent stand of respecting Myanmar's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Bishop highly appreciated and agreed with the Prime Minister's proposal to prioritize the urging parties of Myanmar to exercise restraint and violence, ensure security and safety, and urgently resume dialogue with relevant parties to find a peaceful solution to the Myanmar situation. Receiving the Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh thanked the WIPO and the Director General for their support of Vietnam and hoped that WIPO would help Vietnam continue improving its Global Innovation Index report ranking. The WIPO Director General thanked the Prime Minister for his important and inspiring speech at the Global Innovation Index 2024 launch ceremony, congratulating Vietnam on being among the top 50 countries with the highest innovation index. The Director General praised the country's achievements in innovation and economic development, thanks to the leadership and strategic vision of Vietnamese leaders. With impressive economic growth and inflation control results in 2024, experts and international organizations forecast that Vietnam's inflation in 2025 will remain moderate, much lower than the government ceiling of 4.5%. However, the international community also notes several risks and challenges that could cause the CPI to increase this year.
According to Bernama, Malaysia's national news agency, Vietnam's inflation is expected to remain between 3 and 4.5% this year, thanks to a stable monetary policy. Meanwhile, Statista forecasts that Vietnam's 2025 inflation will reach around 3.54%. Earlier last week, HSBC forecasted that Vietnam's inflation would be 3% this year, down from 3.6% last year.
In terms of global oil prices, in terms of food prices, we should see relatively stabilization for this year. We expect to see some stabilization throughout this year. The domestic demand part, where we expect a gradual pickup in private consumption, so it wouldn't pose a sudden upside risk to inflation.
Bernama noted that Vietnam's inflation in 2025 will be affected by commodity prices, global instability, geopolitical tensions, and fluctuations in exchange rates. Meanwhile, Xinhua and the Big News Network analyzed global economic growth, oil prices, and raw material prices as factors affecting Vietnam's inflation in 2025.
The protectionist policies of the US are likely to dampen global demand, and so that will partly negate any inflationary impacts. Global conflicts can impact on supply chains, and any disruption or instability in global supply chains can also lead to inflationary pressures.
The international community believes that to control the CPI in 2025, Vietnam needs to manage prices of essential goods such as gasoline, electricity, food, and medicine to prevent the risk of sudden price increases and diversify export markets.
It is very important to diversify the trade and investment partners, and this goes hand in hand with Vietnamese bamboo policy. It is also very important for Vietnam to avoid pursuing an overly expansionary monetary policy. Maintaining the solidity of the public finances is equally important.
Limiting sudden price increases to minimize the impact on inflation and people's lives is one of Vietnam's priorities in economic management in 2025. As controlled inflation will support domestic consumption, helping Vietnam overcome challenges and seize opportunities for economic expansion in the future.
Vietnam is an agricultural country. To increase export competitiveness and product value, the party, government, and National Assembly have recently implemented policies promoting the use of science and technology in production. In line with Resolution 57 of the Politburo and the government directives, localities in the Mekong Delta are modernizing their production technology to achieve higher professional standards.
This cake production line can now produce over 122,000 assorted cakes daily, double the output of traditional methods. Through investments in modern technology, the business maintains continuous production.
Our machine has a metal detection system that immediately identifies and sorts out any metal contaminants. This gives me great confidence that our products are clean and of high quality when they reach consumers.
Currently, science, technology, and innovation contribute more than 30% of the added value in agricultural production. Businesses are actively investing in new applications to manage production chains more effectively.
We have recently implemented a data warehouse system for managing smart factories. All data is stored and processed through this software, providing an optimal and effective solution.
As costs continue to rise, adopting modern technology is essential for staying competitive in today's global market.
Vietnam's agricultural exports will soon exceed 62.5 billion USD. This growth depends on factories investing in modern technology throughout production, harvesting, and processing stages while diversifying products to meet demanding international markets.
Coming up next, 1 million workers receive support as TED nears. And Hanoi cares for trees felled by Typhoon Yagi. Welcome back to VTV News. The Mekong Delta is currently facing a risk of widespread water scarcity and deep saltwater intrusion into river estuaries, according to the National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting. Early forecasts indicate that high tides and salinity will likely occur during the upcoming Tet holiday. Consequently, local authorities should intensify efforts to prevent the impact, regularly monitor water levels and salinity, and operate waterworks to maximize freshwater intake and storage. The public is advised to collect, store, and use water efficiently during periods of low salinity. Trade unions have supported more than 1 million union members and workers in the run-up to the 2025 Lunar New Year. Trade unions across the countries disperse trillions of Vietnamese dong to help workers in difficult circumstances, ensuring all union members and workers can enjoy Tet to the fullest.
This company can maintain productivity even during the days leading to Tet, thanks to the early announcement of a Tet bonus equivalent to an extra month's salary and Tet gifts for all 2,500 workers.
In addition to our regular income, we receive a 13th month salary, seniority bonus, and valuable Tet gifts from the company and trade union.
For the upcoming Tet, the Nam Dinh Provincial Labor Federation has reviewed workers experiencing difficult circumstances and low incomes to provide timely support. For example, at Bao Minh Industrial Park, the trade union organized many support programs, such as presenting gifts to disadvantaged households, organizing entertainment, and holding a Tet market, attracting thousands of workers.
The unions have awarded 1 million gifts, including cash, to workers in need. This is the largest number ever.
Activities to benefit workers during the Lunar New Year demonstrate the care of the unions and businesses towards their union members and workers. They incentivize the workforce to return to work after the Tet holiday with good work ethic.
Now, in recent years, the entire political system has supported efforts to eliminate temporary and dilapidated housing. These initiatives have resulted in tens of thousands of new homes being built nationwide, with thousands completed just before year's end, bringing immense joy to disadvantaged families as they celebrate Tet and welcome the spring season.
With a $2,500 USD government subsidy and their own savings, Kain's family built their new home. Thanks to the generous help of local builders, construction costs were minimal. Now the family can celebrate a warm and joyful Tet together in their new home.
We are very happy to have this new home in time for Tet, thanks to the government's support. We will strive to work hard and ensure a stable future for our children.
By the end of 2024, Quang Province had supported the construction of more than 4,000 new homes and repaired over 2,000 existing ones, with a total investment exceeding 4.5 million USD. In Quang Ngai Province, more than 1,700 homes were built or repaired for poor households in 2024.
While there are still many temporary and dilapidated houses remaining, we will focus on completing the construction and repairs after Tet to ensure all families have stable homes by October 31st, 2025.
Nationwide, more than 80,000 households will celebrate Tet in their new, sturdy homes. These families are likely to experience their happiest New Year yet.
This Tet, I'm so happy to have my parents move into the new house with us.
The tens of thousands of new homes built in 2024 stem from the central government's effective policies, combined with proactive efforts from ministries and local authorities, as well as strong support from businesses and the public. This initiative embodies the Vietnamese tradition of solidarity and mutual support.
The Vietnamese investor behind the Sacramento 1 hydroelectric power project in Attapur Province, southern Laos, has actively implemented social welfare programs for communities living downstream of the Sacramento River. These initiatives are transforming the lives of local ethnic communities.
Busay organized the firewood he had gathered for his family's cooking. Since moving to the resettlement area 4 years ago, he no longer worries about his livelihood like he did in his old village.
Since moving to the resettlement area, not only has the hydroelectric project supported us with housing, but my family has also received rice for 3 years. The hydroelectric company also gave us 2 hectares of land to help establish a sustainable livelihood.
Though not part of the official resettlement program, Phu Van, one of 20 such households, decided to remain in the area after helping construct roads for the project.
I run a grocery store and buy timber from local villagers. This provides my family with a stable income. The hydroelectric project has done a lot to improve the lives of the people.
Previously, Hindam Donkin was located in a remote area where people lived a semi-nomadic lifestyle. Access to education and healthcare was extremely difficult due to the 50-kilometer distance from the commune center. Moving here has made us very happy. The people's lives are improving, and everything is much more convenient now.
In addition to building homes, the Sacramento 1 hydroelectric project has provided essential infrastructure such as electricity, roads, schools, and clean water systems. It also supports residents in farming and encourages economic development. This effort has strengthened the solidarity between Laos and Vietnam.
Total investment for the project's social and environmental initiatives is about 30.3 million USDs. All resettlement areas were constructed according to international standards and have been highly praised, particularly by the Lao government, as a model project in Laos. To ensure the long-term stability of resettled families, we have cleared and improved land for each household, providing them with 2 hectares of rice fields and agricultural and fisheries extension centers.
Rising from poverty, Hindam Donkin Village aims to become a model community by 2027, ensuring all residents can enjoy more prosperous and fulfilling lives.
Now, after Typhoon Yagi, some 40,000 trees were uprooted in Hanoi. Nearly half could not be saved and become firewood. The rest were replanted in the same spot. More than 2,000 trees require professional attention. Days before Ted, tree specialists were still diligently working on the trees, hoping they would soon provide shade again in the spring.
The majority of tree damage inflicted by Typhoon Yagi was in Chuvanan Park, Than-Tri District, Hanoi. More than 800 required watering every 2 or 3 days. After more than 3 months of care, the trees are now in stable condition.
Based on our assessment, about 20% of the plants transferred were in critical condition. We have successfully revived them.
The trees flattened by the storm were decades old. Like humans, older trees are more difficult to treat, and growing in the cramped confines of sidewalks, the trees were not always in the best of health. As someone who has been growing and caring for trees for more than 10 years, Tu's workload in saving 190 fallen trees after Storm Yagi was far from easy.
The soonest a tree can be back on the streets is about 6 months to a year.
As the weather in Hanoi is unusually dry this year, caring for storm-damaged trees requires the effort and dedication of those who love greenery and depends heavily on each tree's ability to recover.
The annual Spring Calligraphy Festival kicked off on Thursday at the Temple of Literature in Hanoi, offering a festive ambience for locals and tourists alike. 3 captivating exhibitions will be on display around the Lake of Literature. The calligraphy exhibition features 100 exquisite works in Sino-Vietnamese and Latin scripts. The Vietnam My Homeland photo exhibition showcases 50 shortlisted photographs from the Vietnam Heritage Photo Award, highlighting Vietnam's cultural heritage. In addition, the snake illustration exhibitions offers diverse artist perspectives on the snake, the symbolic animal of this Lunar New Year, as depicted in both traditional and contemporary art. The festival will run from January the 23rd to February the 9th. Coming up next in our world news, Russia reacts to U.S. proposal to end conflict in Ukraine. And France demands Venezuela reduce its diplomatic staff in Paris. Russian officials have responded to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to resolve the conflict in Ukraine, saying there is a small chance of an agreement with the Trump administration. However, Moscow needs to study the terms of the deal. This move came after the U.S. president warned that he could impose additional sanctions on Moscow if Russian President Putin refused to negotiate to end the conflict that has lasted nearly 3 years. Previously, Russian President Putin has also announced that he was ready to talk with the new U.S. administration about the conflict and that eliminating the root causes of the crisis was key. France ordered the Venezuelan embassy in Paris to reduce its diplomatic staff on Wednesday, giving some diplomats 5 days to leave the country in response to Caracas' earlier decision to limit the number of French diplomats to 3. The French Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the decision is a reciprocal measure following the Venezuelan authorities' decision of January the 14th to reduce France's diplomatic presence in Caracas on the grounds that France strongly rejects. Last week, Venezuela said it would impose restrictions on French, Italian, and Dutch diplomats in Caracas and reduce their embassy personnel to just 3, citing their government interference in Caracas' internal affairs. Solar power generation overtook coal in the EU for the first time in 2024, reaching 11% of the bloc's electricity mix, while coal shares fell below 10%, according to a report by London-based energy think tank Amber on Thursday. Strong solar growth combined with a hydropower recovery pushed renewables shares to 47% of EU power generation. The EU power sector is undergoing a deep transformation spurred on by the 2019 European Green Deal. Amber's analysis found fossil fuels were fading in the EU as wind and solar outpaced coal and pushed gas into decline, accelerating the deal's vision. 2,500 people work in Tasmania as part of the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme. They help fill workforce gaps in areas like aviculture and horticulture. They also bring about something else to the state, their vibrant culture. Beck Primham, ABC News reports at a special Pacifica festival in northwest Tasmania.
Celebrating culture and connection. The Pacific Rhythm Festival in Ulverston delivered a lineup of traditional and contemporary music and dance from workers living in Australia under the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme, known as PALM.
We're proud to be in Solomon Islanders, and then we show this out as one of our unique cultural dance, and even the people out will see that they will feel special.
The dancing was very nice, and people are enjoying clapping and smiling and shouting. Oh, they are happy to watch our dancing.
Our traditional dance, it's a cultural thing. It was run before from our ancestors, and up until now to this generation.
Proving a hit with the crowd.
People performing up there, they're fantastic.
So much life and the colour, and it's just the enjoyment. And the fact that they are here, they're part of our community, so it's absolutely fabulous that they're sharing the joy.
The PALM scheme helps fill labour shortages in rural and regional Australia in sectors like agriculture and meat processing, with workers from the Pacific and Timor-Leste able to obtain visas of up to 4 years linked to their employer. In November, there were more than 31,000 workers across the nation and almost 500 employers.
The Mayor is already looking forward to putting on the next event.
They wanted a chance to share their culture and their song and their dance, and we're so grateful that they've been generous enough to do that.
Beck Pridham, ABC News, Ulverston.
And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again at 3 p.m. local time.